couple different things that we're learning today is that if you can connect and look for similarities, you're more able to have a conversation that's authentic and transparent. And when you do have a difference with someone, let's say you compare yourself to someone who's smarter, someone who's more athletic, someone who's more talented. We all do that. We all socially compare because social learning tells us that we have to compare in order to know how to act. Because if we don't compare, then we would not conform, and if we don't conform at all, it would be total chaos. So the reason why we compare is to conform, to keep things stable. And that's human behavior. Very adaptive, very functional, actually a pretty good thing. But comparison turns into competition, and then that can turn into judgment and guilt and all that. Now, I'm a competitive person. I will be the first one to admit it. I was a competitive athlete. I work with competitive athletes now. Everything about me, I tend to lead with a lot of vigor and a lot of competition, and that is okay. And you can do it with gratitude. So you can be competitive and compare yourself to someone who's better than you, because there are many professionals who are better than me. There's many speakers who are better than me. There's many coaches who are better than me. But if I compare myself to them and I think, okay, that's my role model, that's my goal, how do I get to my goal? If I make it a positive experience, then I win because I improve, and I'm not judging the other person and trying to feel negative about them because I think they're so good that if I think negative about them or talk about them, that makes me feel better. And that's the icky stuff. Now, vice versa. You can compare yourself to someone who has less than you and be grateful for the things that you have and find a way to give back. So you are allowed to compare, you are allowed to be competitive, you are allowed to have confidence and self-esteem and still be a happy, humble person. You can do both. And the way that you can do that is by comparing with gratitude. The other thing too is that you can think about how your vulnerability and your transparency and your honesty with other people actually opens the gates for them to be transparent and honest back. And helping people is tenfold. You help one person, it helps you tenfold. Because what you realize is that when you put enough out there into the world, that as a community, something changes in our culture. Because it's sort of like the butterfly effect. When one thing starts to shift in an ecosystem, everything starts to shift. And if you can start to be more honest and transparent with people and stop having the representative show up for the world, and also be kind and generous, if you are a confident person who does have a lot of, as a high number, then leave that opportunity for someone else. Give that gift to someone else by sitting down and talking to a person that you may not have been willing to talk to before. Resiliency isn't about being tough, it's about asking for help. You are not resilient when you're alone. Have you ever seen someone survive anything alone? No. Long enough, it can't last. One organism cannot survive on its own. It has to have adversity, it has to have diversity, it has to have a variety of things to thrive. And the more we bunker down, as Brene Brown calls it, our social bunker, the more we get down into that social bunker and we don't look out, the less resilient we are. Because we need human connection to stay strong. And think about what's stopping you from getting the support that you need. If your goal is to get support or to increase your number, which would be great, but there's a barrier, you have a friend who's holding you down, you have a real feeling of like low insecurity, or you have a feeling of like unworthiness. Like if you have a barrier to becoming a confident person or to increasing your number, don't obsess over the number and don't obsess over the goal. Just focus on that barrier. Like what is that one thing getting in your way of being the person you want to be? Because it's another person, it's an event, it's a situation, it's too heavy of an AP class load. Like whatever is your barrier is your new goal. I'm going to say that again. Whatever your barrier is to the goal is your new goal.